We live in a world that constantly tells us to hold on to possessions, to status, to relationships, to opinions. From a young age, we learn that safety comes from keeping things close. But what if that very clinging is the reason for our suffering? Buddhist wisdom teaches that attachment is the root of our deepest pain. Not love itself, not joy, not dreams, but the grasping, the tight-fisted belief that we must keep life exactly as it is to be happy. When we attach too tightly, we resist the natural flow of change. We fear loss, and that fear shapes every decision. We suffer twice. First in the worry of what we might lose, and again when life inevitably changes. The Buddha's path to freedom is not about cold detachment or denying joy. It is about opening your hands, allowing people, experiences, and moments to come and go without chaining your peace to them. In this video, we'll explore 8 Buddhist practices that help you loosen that grip. From mindful awareness to compassion for self and others. These practices don't push life away. They teach you how to hold it gently, so that love, joy, and peace can flow without fear. Because the truth is, freedom isn't found in having more. It's found in needing less. And when you release attachment, you don't lose life, you finally start living it. Practice 1. Mindfulness of impermanence. Anicca. If there's one truth that Buddhist teachings return to again and again, it is this: everything changes. This is not simply a poetic idea, it is the foundation of reality itself. Every moment, every sensation, every relationship, and every breath is in motion. The Buddha called this truth, anicca, impermanence. It's the recognition that nothing in this world remains fixed, not even for an instant. Your thoughts arise and pass. Your emotions swell and fade. Your body grows, ages, and eventually returns to the earth. Seasons shift, friends move away. Even the mountains, which seem eternal, are slowly wearing down with time. And yet, despite this, the human mind clings. We hold tightly to the people we love, the identities we've built, the circumstances we wish would never change. We grasp because we believe that if we can hold something tightly enough, we can make it last forever. But clinging is like trying to catch water in your fist. The harder you squeeze, the faster it slips away. Mindfulness of impermanence is the practice of seeing the truth of change directly, not as an abstract idea, but as an ongoing experience in your daily life. A simple meditation to practice anicca. Find a quiet place to sit, even if it's just for 5 minutes. Close your eyes and bring your attention to your breath. Notice each inhale and exhale. As you focus, observe how each breath is slightly different from the one before. Deeper, shallower, warmer, cooler. Extend your awareness to the sensations in your body. Notice how even discomfort shifts over time. Tension may fade, warmth may rise, itches may disappear. Then, observe your thoughts. Watch how they come and go on their own, like clouds drifting across the sky. This simple observation is profound. You begin to realize that everything is in flux, and that this is not a problem to solve, but a reality to accept. Applying this to life: when you feel deep sadness, remind yourself, this too will pass. When you feel intense joy, allow yourself to savor it fully without clinging, knowing it is a gift of the present moment. When you're holding on to resentment, recognize that the anger you feel today will not be the same tomorrow unless you feed it. The freedom it brings when you truly grasp impermanence, attachment loses its grip. You stop expecting life to stay the same, and instead, you begin to flow with it. You appreciate beauty without fearing its end. You endure pain without believing it will last forever. You love people for who they are now, instead of who you wish they'd remain. As the Buddha said, all conditioned things are impermanent. When one sees this with wisdom, one turns away from suffering. Practice 2. Compassion for self and others. Metta. If impermanence teaches us that all things are in motion, compassion teaches us how to move with them gently, kindly, without causing harm. In Buddhism, the practice of metta, often translated as loving kindness, is a deliberate cultivation of goodwill toward yourself and all living beings. It's not just a fleeting feeling, it's a discipline of the heart. We often believe compassion is something we give only when it's deserved, but Buddhist wisdom turns this on its head. Compassion is not a reward, it's a recognition. It acknowledges that every being, even those who have hurt you, shares the same basic desire to be free from suffering. Why self-compassion comes first to you. Cannot give genuine compassion to others if you have none for yourself. Self-criticism hardens the heart, making it more difficult to offer warmth to anyone else. The Buddha understood this deeply, which is why metta practice begins with your own well-being. A simple self-compassion meditation might begin like this. May I be safe. May I be healthy. May I be free from suffering. May I live with ease. You repeat these phrases, not because you feel them already, but because you are planting the seeds. Over time, the soil of your heart softens. Extending compassion outwardance, you've established kindness toward yourself. You gradually expand your circle. A loved one, picture someone who brings you joy. Offer them the same wishes. A neutral person, perhaps the barista you see every morning, or a neighbor you don't know well. A difficult person, someone who has caused you pain. This is the most challenging step, but also the most transformative. All beings, humans, animals, seen and unseen, may they all be free from suffering. The power of metta-compassion is not weakness, it's radical strength. It allows you to respond to harm without replicating it. It dissolves the illusion of separation. When you practice metta regularly, you begin to notice subtle shifts. Resentments feel lighter. Patience comes more naturally. Your words carry less sharpness. Metta doesn't erase boundaries, it reinforces them with understanding rather than anger. You learn to say no without hate, to walk away without bitterness, and to forgive without forgetting. Living compassion daily. When you see someone struggling, instead of judging, silently send them a wish for peace. When you make a mistake, pause and speak to yourself as you would to a dear friend. When the news overwhelms you, close your eyes and imagine sending a wave of calm into the world. As the Buddha said, hatred does not cease by hatred, but only by love. This is the eternal rule. Practice 3. Non-attachment. Vairagya. Non-attachment is often misunderstood as coldness or indifference, but in Buddhism, it is quite the opposite. It is a way of loving without clinging, caring deeply without grasping so tightly that both you and the other cannot breathe. We tend to attach not only to people, but also to identities, possessions, beliefs, routines, and even emotions. We tell ourselves, this must stay as it is, or I cannot be happy. That belief becomes a prison. The nature of attachment is rooted in the illusion that something permanent can be found in a world of impermanence. When that illusion breaks, a relationship ends, a job changes, your body ages, suffering intensifies, not because of the change itself, but because of our resistance to it. The Buddha taught that clinging is like holding onto a rope that is being pulled away. The tighter you grip, the more your hands burn. Practicing non-attachment awareness of grasping. Notice the moments when you feel anxiety about losing something. Is it a role, a possession, someone's approval? The first step is to simply see the grasping. Shift from owning to experience and Jesus of, this is mine. Practice, I am experiencing this now. This subtle shift moves you from a mindset of possession to one of gratitude for the present. Release with intention. Choose small acts of letting go. Clean a drawer, give away an item you don't need, or take a walk without your phone. Train the mind to rest without constant holding. Non-attachment in relationships. To love someone without attachment means you respect their autonomy and accept that they will change, just as you will. It means you don't anchor your happiness solely in their presence, words, or actions. You can still feel sadness when someone leaves or changes. Non-attachment does not erase feeling. It simply keeps you from drowning in it. The freedom it brings when you loosen the grip of attachment, life feels lighter. You stop demanding permanence from the impermanent. You become more present, more grateful, and more resilient when change inevitably comes. As the Dhammapada says, from attachment springs grief. From attachment springs fear. For one who is wholly free from attachment, there is no grief, whence fear. Practice 4. Mindful presence. Mindfulness is the art of living fully in the here and now, without getting lost in the replay of the past or the rehearsal of the future. It's not about stopping your thoughts, that's impossible, but about learning to rest in awareness as thoughts, feelings, and sensations arise and pass. Why mindful presence matters. Attachment often thrives in the past. I wish it stayed like it was, or the future. I hope it turns out exactly this way. Mindful presence cuts through both illusions by anchoring you in the only place you truly have this moment. When you are present, you see reality clearly. You experience joy in small things. You suffer less over things you cannot control. How to practice mindful presence. A breath awareness through the day. Pause and notice your breathing. Feel the inhale and exhale without forcing it. This brings your mind home to your body. Single tasking. Choose one activity: drinking tea, walking, washing dishes, and give it your full attention. Notice the textures, sounds, scents, and sensations. Mindful listening when speaking with someone. Resist the urge to plan your response. Listen as if their words are the only thing in the world at that moment. The challenge of distraction: your mind will wander, that's natural. The practice is not about keeping it still forever, but about coming back, again and again, like returning home after getting lost. Each return is a moment of strengthening your capacity to be here now. Mindful presence and non-attachment. When you're fully present, you're less likely to cling. You appreciate experiences for what they are, rather than what you wish they were. You notice change as it happens and adapt gracefully, instead of resisting it. As Tchen Chen said, the present moment is filled with joy and happiness. If you are attentive, you will see it. Practice 5. Compassion for self and others. Compassion is not pity, and it's not about condoning harmful actions. It's about understanding the causes of suffering both in yourself and others, and responding with care rather than judgment. When you hold compassion, attachment begins to loosen naturally. You no longer cling to unrealistic expectations of people or situations, because you start to see that everyone, including you, is doing the best they can with the awareness they have at the moment. Why compassion weakens. Attachment often comes from need. Needing someone to behave a certain way so you can feel safe. Needing a situation to turn out just right to feel at peace. When compassion arises, you no longer need in the same desperate way. You replace control with understanding, and expectation with empathy. How to practice compassion. Start with yourself. Notice the voice of your inner critic. When it speaks harshly, pause and imagine speaking instead as you would to a dear friend in pain. See beyond the behavior. When someone acts out, ask yourself, what pain or fear might be driving this? This doesn't excuse harm, but it expands your view. Small acts of kindness hold the door for someone. Offer a smile, send a message of gratitude. Tiny moments of connection remind you of your shared humanity. Metta loving kindness meditation. Silently repeat phrases such as, may I be happy, may I be healthy, may I live in peace. Then extend them to others. May you be happy, may you be healthy, may you live in peace. A key insight: when you develop compassion, you release the tight grip on me and mine. The boundaries of self begin to soften, and with them, the attachments that keep you stuck. As the Dalai Lama teaches, if you want others to be happy, practice compassion. If you want to be happy, practice compassion. Practice 6. Embracing impermanention. Of the most central teachings in Buddhism is anicca, the truth that all things are impermanent. Everything changes, everything passes, and it is our resistance to this truth that causes much of our suffering. We cling because we want to freeze moments that feel good. We fear change because we can't predict what's next. But life, by its nature, is a flow, and when you fight that flow, you exhaust yourself. Why embracing impermanence brings freedom. When you accept that nothing lasts forever, not joy, but pain, success, not failure, you loosen your grip. You stop trying to control outcomes. You stop chasing permanence in a world where nothing can be held forever. Impermanence doesn't mean nothing matters. It means everything is precious, because you know it's temporary. How to practice embracing impermanence. Mindful observation of change. Watch a flower bloom and wither. Notice the shifting light in the sky. See how your thoughts and feelings come and go. Release rituals. When something ends, a season, a relationship, a chapter of your life, create a simple ritual to mark the transition. Light a candle, write a letter you don't send, or simply sit in gratitude for what was. Daily reflection each morning. Remind yourself, this day will never come again. How will I meet it? A key insight: impermanence is not loss, it's movement. It's the reason the river reaches the sea, the reason winter turns to spring, the reason endings make room for beginnings. As the Buddha said, all conditioned things are impermanent. When one sees this with wisdom, one turns away from suffering. Practice 7. Mindful non-attachment. In Buddhism, non-attachment doesn't mean you stop loving, stop caring, or stop showing up for life. It means you stop clinging. You stop holding people, experiences, and outcomes in a way that says, I cannot be okay without you. Non-attachment is about being in the world, loving deeply, participating fully, but without chains. Why non-attachment matters: when you attach your happiness to anything that can change a relationship, a job, a certain status, you make your peace conditional. And because all things are impermanent, that peace can vanish at any moment. Non-attachment allows you to love without fear, to experience without grasping, to let go when it's time, without feeling like you've lost yourself. How to practice mindful non-attachment. Tonatize the hooks. Pay attention to moments when your mind says, I need this to be happy, or can't live without that. These are signs of attachment. Hold lightly. Imagine holding a butterfly. If you squeeze too tightly, you'll harm it. If you keep your hands open, it may rest there for a while or fly away. This is how to hold life. Shift from owning to experience and of thinking. This is mine. Try. I am grateful to experience this, for as long as it lasts. A key insight: non-attachment is not detachment. It's not about shutting down or being cold. It's about being rooted in yourself so fully that nothing external can pull you off balance. As the Buddha taught, you only lose what you cling to. When you stop clinging, you free yourself, and ironically, you can love more openly, because you're no longer driven by fear of loss. Practice 8. Compassionate living. Compassion, Buddhist practice, is not just a feeling, it's a way of being. It is the deep wish for all beings to be free from suffering, combined with the willingness to act to ease that suffering. When you live with compassion, you stop seeing others as obstacles or enemies. You begin to understand that, like you, everyone is trying to navigate life's difficulties with the tools they have. Why compassion frees you. Compassion softens the sharp edges of resentment and judgment. When you hold anger, you hold yourself hostage. But when you open your heart, you set yourself free. Buddhism teaches that we are all interconnected. Harming another harms you. Helping another helps you. How to practice compassionate living. Start with yourself. If you can't extend compassion to yourself, it's almost impossible to give it authentically to others. Replace self-criticism with self-kindness. Speak to yourself as you would to a dear friend who is struggling. See the shared humanity: the person who cuts you off in traffic, the coworker who is short with you. All of them carry unseen burdens. When you remember this, your first reaction becomes curiosity instead of condemnation. Act in small ways. Compassion doesn't always mean grand gestures. A smile, a kind word, a pause to really listen. These small acts ripple outward. The compassion meditation, a traditional Buddhist practice, is to repeat phrases of loving kindness, first for yourself, then for others. May I be free from suffering. May I be at peace. May you be free from suffering. May you be at peace. You can send these wishes silently to strangers, friends, and even those you find difficult to love. A key insight: compassion is not weakness. It's the courage to keep your heart open in a world that can be harsh. It is the ultimate form of freedom, because it releases you from the prison of self-centeredness. As the Dalai Lama often says, if you want others to be happy, practice compassion. If you want to be happy, practice compassion.